Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Rakakadash, the Valana Sales and Apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the elect. Now, as you can see, I just got this article here, and Lord is really turning up the heat, man, because we're seeing things kicking off in places over there in South America, like I believe it's Colombia, and we're having different various things that are going on, like I believe there's a civil war in France, and now because this one's a major prophecy, man. Oh, we say Lord willing, this be the year, man. Lord, Lord willing, because we see everything's unfolding before us, man. But without further ado, I'm gonna get into this article. Brink of war. U.S. fires 30 shots at Iran military ships as world holds breath. Now, people, ain't taking this into account because, people aren't really taking any notice of this. Because just like you had over there in World War II, what was Germany doing? Germany was slowly building up their arms. They were slowly building up their arms, but it's a way that other nations weren't really taking them seriously at the time. But they built up their military might. This is like what obviously Russia is going to be the main force. Russia's going to be the bear man. And then it's going to have all these these smaller nations under its wing. Moab is going to play a big part as well. But let's see what this. I'll play this. سپاه علوی کاخ ستم شد ویران میرسد مژده آزادی قدس از ایران سپاه علوی کاخ ستم سپاه علوی. I believe I posted my backup channel. It was basically showing propaganda of I believe it was Washington. It was a monument in the US. I believe it was Washington being blown up, being destroyed, man. Because the war is brewing in the air, man. And it's not like it was 5 years ago. This is getting a lot hotter because every corner you turn, there's something happening. Because even with this wallet mod, there's all look around every corner, there's something happening, man. And this is what we want. It gets us excited because we know that the kingdom is within reach. We just gotta we may fall and have bad days and whatnot, but we can't let that deter us from continuing on that straight road. Let me get a scripture. For that. Yeah, I couldn't really find the one I was looking for. I seen one in in Ecclesiastes 9:11, I believe. I'll probably bring that out after this one. This is Matthew 24, starting at verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. You seeing the truth being preached. Starting from the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and Dawn, man. We seeing this truth spread like wildfire. I like the verse 14 said, after this gospel is preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. I'm gonna go back to the article. Okay, the trouble flared up when the US Coast Guard fired 31 shots after 13 Iran armed speedboats in the Strait of Hormuz. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said the US took action after some of the Iranian fastboats came within the 150 yards of six US military vessels escorting the guided missile submarine Georgia. The flare up was the second time in 2 weeks that a US ship has opened fire to one of vessels from Iran's paramilitary revolution guard. Mr. Kirby says they were acting very aggressively. So obviously they're gonna justify what they're doing by saying they were being very aggressive. So we had to, so for our own safety, we had to shoot 30 warning missiles at them. Not even counting, the wicked. Not even counting what the US has already done to Iran. You know, you killing. They're one of their generals. I believe it was a scientist as well. All of that didn't come in the conversation, man, because they know that Iran has got. They know Iran has not forgotten any of that, man. So just like a child that steals the candy that his mom told him not to take, you know, he's always gonna be looking over his shoulder because he's gonna be thinking that, oh, what if my mom, what if she checks the thing, man, and what if she checks it, what if she checks the jar. uh, the flare up was the second time in 2 weeks that a U.S. ship has opened fire to one of vessels from. Yeah. Oh, Salaki, I've already read that. The Coast Guard Corps fired the warning shots from a 50 caliber machine gun before Iranian vessels left. He added. He declined to comment on questions over whether the Revolutionary Guard are trying to pick up a fight with the US Navy. And I'm guessing this is some pictures of what it looked like. Oh yeah. Here's the caption: 50 caliber being fired from the US ship, not the incident in question. So I'm guessing this is like an example picture that they're showing. He said, sadly, harassment by the R IRGC Navy is not a new phenomenon. It is something that all our commanding officers and the crews of our vessels are trained for. This activity is the kind of activity that could lead to somebody getting hurt and could lead to a real miscalculation there in the region. And you're right, it is gonna lead to someone getting hurt. It's gonna be you though. For once, it's gonna be you that's like Babylon the Great is gonna get destroyed this time round. You know, you're gonna get your, you're gonna get what's coming to you, man. And that they're in the region, and that doesn't serve anybody's interest. The latest incident saw the Iranian vessels maneuver at high speeds towards six Navy ships, like the scripture says. You know, just using NATO as an example, the beast shall hate the whore, because all these other nations, they're gonna turn, they're just gonna, something's gonna happen where they're gonna turn on America. They maneuver high speed towards six Navy ships escorting the USS Georgia while the sub was sailing on the surface. The guided missile cruiser USS Monterey was in the convoy. Just a day earlier, the Monterey had intercepted an armed shipment aboard a ship in the Arabian Sea. It was apparently headed for Yemen, whose Houthi rebels which Iran supports, are involved in a bloody civil war against the government. In yesterday's incident, two Iranian boats broke away from the others and moved to the other side from the US formation. They then sped towards some of the American ships in attempt to warn them off. The US issued repeated bridge-to-bridge verbal warnings, said Navy Commander Rebecca Rebarich, a Navy Fifth Fleet spokeswoman. But when that failed and they moved with 300 yards, the Coast Guard cutter Moore fired a volley of warning shots from a 50 caliber machine gun. It fired another volley when the Iranian boats got within 150 yards. Two Iranian boats then altered course and increased their distance from the US forces, Miss Rabarich said. Hold on, let me get a scripture.